All right, today we are talking about journals, science journals. All right, so this is your science journal, something close to it. This is the most important thing you're going to have this year in science class. It is your textbook. It is all your notes. It's what you'll study from. It's where our experiments will go. It's where your drawings and sketches will go. It's where all your ideas will go, all into this science journal. So it is really important that you take it with you home. Those of you on site coming to school, leave it in your backpack, and you'll need it every day. Take it out of your backpack when you're in class. We'll be ready to go every single day. And virtual kids, I'd like you to have this next to you when you're watching your videos as well and ready to go. So super important. We'll be using most of the book all the way through. We'll be taping or gluing most likely pages in here. Virtual kids, if you have a way to print, you can just print them off. They'll be on Google Classroom. If you're not, you'll need to just go ahead and just know where to find those on your Chromebook. We're still going to label on each page, even if they don't put anything on here, like you virtual kids, what it is and where you can find it. We'll put like what number, what Google Classroom post to be, and you'll find out more about that, later. So how do we set this up? All right, so that's what we'll talk about next. All right, now that you have the nuts and bolts of the journal, what do we need to do to set this thing up? So you already have your name across the top of it. If you're a virtual student, you get to write that name in yourself. Those of you that are coming on site are going to have one with your name already printed on them as well. This is the most important thing we're going to have. And so because of that, we need to keep it somewhat organized. So what I want you to do is you're going to open up your journal. Right, and you are going to start numbering the pages. The very first page, right here, right, is page number 1. So I've labeled it up in the top right-hand corner. We are going to be pasting in a page here for you to document some of your results of some of your learning this year. So you can put your name in here, but this is going to be covered up. Then I turn the page, and you can see I have page number 2. And then page number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think you by this point have probably figured out how our Arabic numbering system has worked. So I will not go through each one. But you can go ahead and just start labeling these, and really all the way to the end. And so if you want to do this, day by day, I wouldn't suggest going ahead and doing 200 straight. Your hand's going to cramp, and then you're going to want to think bad things about Mr. Cook. So just do, maybe do 15, 20 per day, and then in a week you'll have this basically set. And the reason this is important is that I'm going to ask you to put something on page 6 or 7 or 8, and I expect it to be there. So that just helps us stay all organized, right? As well. In fact, your assignment on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, is going to be right here on this first page. So virtual students, what you're going to do is you're going to write your stuff in here, and then you're going to take a picture of it and post it to Google Classroom, and we'll show you how to do that a little bit. And on-site students, a lot of you are still going to be taking pictures and posting to Google Classroom as well. Now, one thing I want to show you is what I've done is we can make these little tabs, because how our journal is set up is by unit. The first 20 pages is going to be our resources. This is stuff you're going to need the whole school year. And then our first unit is our engineering unit, EDP. Right? And this is going to be starting really on page 21 or 22. All right, so how do we do this? Well, if you just take a little piece of Scotch tape and a little piece of paper, I'm going to go ahead and do it on the second journal here. All right, and so you take a little slip of paper. I've got these little weird Post-it notes, but any little strip of paper about this big will do just fine. All right, and then you write what the unit is, right? So our first unit is going to be resources. I just spelled it wrong twice in a row, didn't I? All right, so I'm going to write resources. and then I'm going to fold this in half just to make it sturdier. All right, and then I'm going to take a piece of tape. I'm going to pull it out, I don't know, about 3 inches. All right, and then the middle part of it is where the beginning of my word's going to go. So I can kind of see where the middle might be, and I'm just going to lay that across. This might not be long enough. Let's see. Definitely not long enough. So maybe more like 5. All right, and you want that end of it should be the middle, because your piece, this part's got to come all the way across. Now this is really tricky here because you want to make sure to these two will stick together, and you got to start over. So you can go to your first page and then start at the very top. Is how these tabs will work, and you just want to lay it behind, so it sticks just in the back side, and take your front side, and then you're just going to roll it across, stick it right there, and then you have your first tab. All right, and now if you want to make it smaller, you could fold it, use a smaller piece of paper. On this one here, you'll notice I had a bigger one and a smaller one. I think I like the smaller one. It's sturdier, doesn't stick out as far, so it's not more likely to get folded up. All right, and when we start a new unit, we'll tell you what page it'll be on, and then it'll be a lot easier. So when we're in biology or we're in energy or weather, you don't have to start rifling through. It's just going to be there, ready to go. And that is the nuts and bolts of the Science Journal. That's every day, super important. I'll be using this all the time. This is what we'll be using to study for your tests and quizzes. Most of your work, if it's not a Google Doc basically or something, a Google Classroom, it's going to be in here.